Do you know one of the four tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Mine is the tale of sea, human.
Would you mind telling it to me?
I would be happy to do so. This is the tale of sea, told in my own words, as it was told to me by my teacher in his words, and to him by his teacher in his words. This was a very, very long time ago, when the Elation were a strong people, and we could spend days riding the hot winds above the seas. We hunted fish then, and we were at war with the Merum, the Wet-tails. Acalus was one of the strongest warriors there was. His claws were sharp and long, his beak pointy, and his teeth strong. Acalus was admired by everyone in his clan, and because of this he was cocky and arrogant. So one day, the teller of Acalus city asked him to perform a very important and very special duty, to bring a sacred jewel to the teller of an Elation town across the sea. This particular jewel was very important because it signified a union between the two towns, and it would benefit the people of both that it was delivered safely and promptly. Acalus grinned and told the teller that he would deliver the jewel both quickly and safely, and that she was not to worry. But the teller did worry, because Acalus was young and too sure of himself. But she wanted to test him, and to teach him that sharp claws, a pointy beak, and strong teeth are not all a warrior needs, that a warrior must also be wise and careful. So Acalus set out across the sea on his flight. It was on the fourth day that he spotted something in the water that caught his attention, and forgetting his duty and following his curiosity, Acalus dived towards the water to investigate. When he came closer, he saw that there were Merum in the water, foolishly hunting close to the surface, and Acalus saw an opportunity to again prove his might as a great warrior to his people, and to capture the fins of a few Wet-tails. But this time, Acalus' arrogance got the better of him, because the Merum had set a trap. As he dived towards the Merum with his claws, a spear shot up from the water to hit him. Acalus struck the water and dropped the jewel he was carrying, and it was all he could do not to drown. Acalus was bleeding, and the Merum were grabbing onto his wings and his legs, but he fought bravely, and finally he managed to escape. But even though he now lived, he was dead inside, because the shame of losing the sacred jewel would always be with him. Acalus could not return to his village, because he had neglected his duty to his teller and to his people, and so he went away to a small island where he could be alone. To himself and his people, Acalus now became the Lost One, he who had been on a sacred mission but had failed in his arrogance. A year passed, and one day Acalus met with human traders from a ship that came close to his island. From the traders, Acalus heard speak of a hideous creature that lived in the sea, the Octowoe. The Octowoe was said to have a third eye, like a jewel, and that this eye pulled hapless sailors into its deadly eight-armed grasp. Acalus knew immediately that the Octowoe's third eye had to be the jewel that he lost in the sea a year ago, and he now saw the opportunity to redeem himself. But Elation were not used to water, and the thought of submerging himself in the cold, harsh ocean chilled Acalus to his heart. But he was the Lost One, and if in his death he could at the very least redeem himself, To his own heart, then, it would be worth it. So Acalus fashioned himself a spear, because in the water his claws and his beak would be too slow, and he flew out to where the Octowoe was last seen. And then Acalus dived into the sea. The dark water closed in on him, and his wings and legs went numb. But still Acalus kept pushing down until he saw the lair of the Octowoe. Spotting Acalus, the Octowoe attacked, and Acalus saw the monster's third eye, his sacred jewel, shining bright in the darkness, and his heart was filled with a sense of duty and courage that he had never felt before. But as he began fighting the eight-armed monster, Acalus realized that if he were to fight like he usually did, he would not stand a chance. He would have to think differently. And so Acalus tricked the Octowoe into following him through a tight chasm where the monster got stuck. And then he swam above it, and using his spear, tipped a rock on top of the Octowoe. Swimming back down again, the Octowoe was flailing helplessly. Now, almost out of air, Acalus took the sacred jewel from the Octowoe's head and swam back up. Finally, Acalus could deliver the sacred jewel to the town across the sea, and upon returning to his village, he went to the teller, bowed his head, and said, "Forgive me, teller, for in my arrogance I thought I could do everything. But I could not, and I became the lost one because of it." "You were lost," said the teller, "but you are no more. Because now you see the limits of your own strength, and you will know that a warrior must be careful and wise, in addition to being strong and fierce." This was the tale of C, and I told it in my own words, as told to me by my teacher.
So, Isam, that's your name, isn't it?
Yes, Isam of Tamar.
A good-looking guy like you must get a lot of attention from the girls, right?
Are you asking me for courtship?
Me? No. Wings don't do anything for me. No, I was just thinking, maybe you had your eye out for somebody special?
I'm without a mate. The women of Tamar are cold and unfriendly, and whenever I try to talk to one of them, she ignores me.
Huh. Even Nima?
Nima? No, she's too pretty for me. She won't appreciate my attention.
This is like high school. Trust me, Isam. You go talk to her one of these days, and I'm sure you'll find you have a lot in common. Just be yourself, okay?
You think so? Perhaps you are right. I will do as you say, Windburger. Thank you.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Mine is the tale of winds, Windbringer. Do you wish to hear it?
Very much.
Then I shall tell it. This is the tale of winds, my tale, and I pledge to tell it in my own words, as told in turn by my teacher. In the village of Karan, in the mountains of tall winds, there lived a young Elatian woman named Iwana. Iwana had one desire above all others, to soar higher and farther than anyone else. And even though her wings were no broader, nor her body sleeker than anyone else's, she pursued this foolish desire without rest. And as time passed, she did soar higher, and she did fly farther than the other young Elatian in her village, and her name became known far and wide amongst the tribes of the mountains of tall winds. But still, Iwana was not happy. She was not happy because, in her vanity, even though she was a better flyer than almost everyone else, and to her eyes, she was still not good enough. She wanted to be so much better than anyone else that she would be remembered for all time as the best flyer amongst all the elation. And so one day, Iwana decided to climb to the top of Mount Bakta'ana, the Tower of Light, and to soar from those giddy heights to the ends of the world. Her friends and her family pleaded with her not to, because every elation knew that to soar from such heights was dangerous, that at such heights the air was thin and the winds treacherous. But Iwana would not listen, and on a cold and clear morning she climbed up the Tower of Light to the rock and the ice at the very top. From there she could see to the ends of the world. And it brought tears to her eyes to know that now, finally, she would be greater and better than any elation before her. And so Iwana spread her wings and leaped off the mountain. Those who watched her from far below said that for a split moment Iwana soared, and she soared higher and farther than any elation before or since. But then the treacherous winds caught a hold of her, and the thin air made her plummet towards the ground, and to fall to her death amongst the rocks at the base of the mountain. In her vanity, Iwana could not see beyond her desire to be the very best. And vanity always stands to fall. That was the tale of winds, my tale, and I told it in my own words, as told to me in turn by my teacher.
Are you ready for the questions now?
Yes, ask me the questions.
In the Tale of Winds, which mountain did Iwana fall from in her vain attempt to fly higher and further than anyone else?
Mount Bakta'ana, the Tower of Light.
That is correct. In the Tale of Stars, what did Mona see in the sky that helped her find her way home?
The spirits of 5 tellers.
That is correct. In the Tale of Sea, what creature did the Lost One battle in his quest to recover the sacred jewel?
The Octawo?
That is correct. My final question to you is this. In the Tale of Homecoming, what was given to Moran by his teller when he returned from his pilgrimage?
A broken pot, to teach him that absence may break a heart in two.
You have correctly answered all my questions, and so have proven your knowledge of the 4 tales. You are the Windbringer. The teller would see you presently.